In this video, I'm going to explain the digital assembly line and how this is the modern day version of the Industrial Revolution. In 1913, one man built an entire car by hand. He knew every part, every bolt, every step. Then Henry Ford built the assembly line. That man's skill stopped mattering. The car still got built, but it got built by the system. What Henry Ford did to factory workers, AI is doing to the highest paid workers in the world right now. Software developers, cybersecurity analysts, financial analysts, lawyers even. I'm calling this the digital assembly line, and most parents have no idea that this is happening right now. Here's how building software used to work. You needed a big team. One person designed it. One person wrote the front end. One person wrote the back end. Someone tested it. Someone reviewed the code. Someone actually deployed it so that other people could use it. That's around 7 or 8 people, all trained for years and years and years in order to do what they're doing, all making likely 6 figures. So parents and kids used to look at these salaries and say, hey, I think my kid needs to learn how to code. And up until now, they were right. That was true for about 20 or 30 years. Kids went to college for computer science, $40,000 per year to learn all of this. 4 years totals a massive amount of money, either paid by the parents or the student having to go into debt. Or they went to a coding boot camp and tried to learn it all themselves, $15,000, $20,000 across 3, 6, 9 months. The path was very clear. If you learned how to code, you would get hired and you would make great money. Then the assembly line showed up again, but this time it wasn't in a factory, it was in the digital world. So here's what's happening right now. Instead of 8 people building software, there are AI agents. I like to call them AI worker bots. Not one AI, but a team of them. One of these workers writes the code, another worker checks it for bugs, another worker tests it, another agent preps it for launch. One person sits at a laptop, tells them all what to do, and that's it. This is not theory, this is even happening inside of my own company, Starter School. One person running the whole floor. This is the same way a floor manager at Henry Ford's factory ran the whole line. They don't build the car, they run the system that builds the car. What used to take 30 engineers and 6 months now takes just one person and a few weeks. And this isn't something that's theoretical either. This is happening right now, and most people don't even know that this exists. So if you're hearing about this right now, you're probably one of the very few people in the entire world that knows and sees where the world is going. Think about what happens next. If one person can do the work of 30, you don't need 30 people. Those are 27 job openings that don't get harder to land, they just stop existing. And it's not just software, it's in cybersecurity. These AI workers now scan for threats, write security patches, monitor systems around the clock. And the entry-level analyst watching a screen for red flags? Nope, that's an AI now. In finance, the same thing is happening. AI workers are processing these complicated financial documents that companies release. They're running the compliance checks, building the reports that used to take a team an entire month to complete. One person now runs these team of AI workers, and the actual human teams are shrinking fast. It's happening right now. This is also happening in the legal world. AI workers are reviewing contracts, flagging risks, and the junior associate pulling 80 hours a week on document review, that work is all done in a matter of an hour now. These weren't low-paying jobs. These were the jobs that everyone wanted to get, the ones that guidance counselors thought were safe, the ones that parents spent massive amounts of money to aim their kids towards. And companies figured out that they can get the exact same results with a fraction of the people now. Not because the people were bad at their jobs, but now the AI is so smart, so fast, and it never calls in sick. It works 24/7. Now here's where it becomes a trap. Fewer jobs, more people fighting for each one. Companies having fewer openings means that competition is going to be higher and higher for those jobs that are available. And the people that already have the experience, the years and years of valuable experience, they're going to be the ones that get called in for the interviews. So what do kids do about this new future that they're growing up in? Do they get more credentials? Do they get a master's degree, a PhD, maybe a certification or another boot camp or more debt or more time? No. We're in a new reality now, and it's time to adapt to this new reality. The truth is, you have to stay nimble. You have to use the tools and technologies of the modern day and age to be more resourceful, to adapt to all of this change. You no longer need a computer science degree taking 4 years and hundreds of thousands of dollars to be able to get a job. You can now learn the tools from home for $20, $40, $60 per month. The tools that your kids learn through this process, kids need to be going through guided projects, things that actually give them the experience that they can put on a portfolio. And I'm not talking about fake projects that they do from home. I'm talking about real projects where they have to get to a specific goal or a specific deliverable, something that they can show. Universities and schools, they already know this to be a thing. It's called project-based education, but schools are having a very difficult time adapting to all of this. It's hard to retrain your professors, your assistants, your teachers. It's hard to retrain 1 million, 2 million, 4 million people across the entire United States. It's even harder to retrain people outside of the United States. So here's the part nobody's really talking about. You can see a degree on a wall, you can see the tuition bill that was paid, you can see the resume that says Bachelor of Science in Computer Science on it. What you can't see is what your kid didn't build, the app they didn't launch, the tool that they didn't use, the portfolio that they didn't create, the 2 years of real building experience they traded for lectures about theory. While your kid sits in a classroom learning to write code by hand, some other 16-year-old was spending $20, $40, $60 per month using these AI workers to build a real application, get it deployed, get users, fix bugs, and do it over and over again. The world is built on products and services that people buy, and companies hire people who know how to actually create products and services and manage products and services. The 16-year-old that didn't learn to code the old way, they learned how to run the new digital assembly line using these new AI workers. And now they have real proof, a portfolio, a set of real products, maybe even real users. And the other kid that went to college, they have a piece of paper, a stamp of approval, the old guard giving them the certification that they know something about the topic. But companies, they're not going to care about that piece of paper anymore. This is a dying trend. Colleges are done for unless they change rapidly. The invisible cost isn't just the money. It's the experience that would have existed if they weren't stuck in the old system. The same technology that crushed the old path has now created a new one. But you have to think differently. You can't think about it in the old system. That'll just keep you stuck in the same loop. Let's think about Henry Ford's assembly line one more time. When it replaced the craftsman, it didn't just kill jobs. It created brand new roles. The person who ran the line, the floor manager, they didn't build the car, they just ran the system that built the car. They managed the humans that built the car. And the person was worth more than any single craftsman ever was. That's what's being created right now. The person who can direct these AI workers, break a big problem into different steps, tell each worker what to do, check the work, fix the mistakes, ship the final product, that's the new floor manager. And that job pays more than the old coding job ever did, because one person running the line produces more than a whole team used to. And that's where everything changes for your child. At Henry Ford's factory, you needed 20 years of experience to run the floor. You had to work your way up. You had to learn every machine by hand. The digital assembly line doesn't work that way. A teenager with a laptop can learn to direct these AI workers in weeks, not years. Because these AI workers do the heavy lifting, your kid just needs to know how to direct them and tell them what to build. This is called being goal-oriented. This is called being deliverable-oriented. Kids are already doing this, building real apps, launching real tools, not because they're geniuses, but because they had a plan. And that's what Starter School helps with. So if you have a teenager between 12 and 19 and you want them to learn the modern tech tools and actually produce real work, that's what we do as a company. If you're interested in having your teenager be a part of what we're doing, there's a link in the description below. The skill that matters now isn't, hey, can you code? It's, hey, can you manage a team of AI workers? Can you run the floor? Can you get to that final finished product? Now let's zoom out for just a second. If the digital assembly line cuts the number of people needed to build software by 80%, and software, look around, runs everything, banks, hospitals, schools, apps, governments, the entire economy is shifting around fewer people doing more. The gap between the people who get it and the people who don't isn't just a pay gap, it's a canyon. And this canyon gets wider and wider every single year because people are stuck in the old system, and the institutions that are responsible for getting us unstuck are dragging their feet. The kids who learn how to run this new system of work early will build things, earn money, and stack experience much faster than the classmates who are still stuck in lectures, learning skills that lose value faster than a used car loses value the second you drive it off the lot. Society is splitting up into two groups right now: the people who run the digital assembly line and the people who got replaced by it. There is no middle ground anymore. Now, this is for digital workers. This doesn't yet exist for physical domain workers. I'm talking about electricians, plumbers, construction workers. There's no automation that solves their job, but the digital workers are in for some trouble. And you might be thinking, well, my kid's only 14. He's still got time. She's still got time. This is a little too early. Well, that's actually their advantage. The 22-year-olds with a computer science degree are the ones scrambling right now. They just spent 4 years learning the old system. They walked into the job market that moved out from under them. And your kid doesn't have that sort of baggage. They can start with the new system from day one. And by the time everyone else figures out what happened, your kid already has years of building under their belt. So starting early isn't the risk. Starting late is. And I encourage you to become an early adopter of this new technology. So if you're a parent watching this, don't wait for schools to catch up. They're still teaching kids the old way of doing work. Get your kid building. Get them in front of these AI workers. Let them build things that come up in their mind. It's easy now. It's no longer gate-kept by skills, money, or having a big network. Let them learn by doing, experimenting, pursuing ideas that they have in their own minds. The only thing that's missing is the knowledge of how to use these tools. The kids who figure this out early are the ones that are going to be so far ahead that no degree is going to close that gap for them. Not in 4 years, not in 10. The gap is growing right now, today, and every semester that passes. This digital assembly line is here. Your kid is either going to run it or they're going to get run over by it. And that's not hype. That's not fear either. That's just how the world is changing. So if this is changing maybe how you're thinking about your kid's future, you may want to consider subscribing. I'm going to be putting out videos just like this, helping you be an early adopter in the most important tools, technologies, and trends that your family needs to learn about. That way you can make better quality decisions. That way they can step up as a leader. That way they don't have to be told that you have to spend $50, $60, $100,000 in order to get a job. My name is Diveej Shrestha. I'm the founder CEO of CertaSchool.com, and if you agree that the world is changing, you may want to consider joining one of our programs. There's a link in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a future video.